so we finally have background blur on an iPhone. Legit, can you see it? My face should be in focus at this point in time and everything behind me should be really blurry, where basically my iPhone is now imitating a large sensor camera. Okay, I wasn't expecting this, to be completely honest. We need to talk about this. Let's get into it. Okay, so everyone's asleep, so we're going to be really quiet right now. Just going to get some coffee and we're going to get into this. So I started my YouTube channel a couple of months ago, about 6 months to be exact. Now, as people got to know, they often ask me what cameras I've been using to film all my YouTube content. And as you guys know, I've basically been somebody who's only used a GoPro or an iPhone to create absolutely every video that you guys see week after week on my channel. And when people around me in my life listen to this, they get extremely surprised. And every now and then I get asked a question about when I'm going to be shifting over to a DSLR, a mirrorless, and to a more professional setup. And a lot of times this would confuse me because I wouldn't understand why people want me to move over from an iPhone or a GoPro, which are such tiny, portable, powerful cameras, and move over to a slightly bigger setup. Not that there's anything wrong with these setups, but I just didn't get what the point was. And I started to realize what people actually meant by this. When people ask you this question, what they're actually talking about is not the camera. Most people don't know much about cameras. What they're basically asking you about is that professional look, that background blur that you get when you're shooting with a larger sensor camera. And after a certain point in time, I started to get that, and it started to make sense to me. What they're basically looking at is the image quality, and other than that, they're talking about something that's extremely common, that particular look that a lot of YouTubers have, which is basically lowering your aperture and getting a large amount of background blur. The separation between the subject in your frame and the background. Basically, the subject has to be completely in focus and the background has to be completely defocused, very similar to what you have in your portrait mode on your iPhone when you're taking a photograph. If you see most of the videos that I shoot on this channel, I do not have that background and foreground separation. And after doing a bunch of research, I actually realized that there's a particular reason for this. If you're shooting on your action camera or if you're shooting on your phone, you're going to notice that your phone or your action camera basically has a really tiny camera module at the back of it, which basically means the sensor is insanely small. Furthermore, the lenses on your smartphone or the lens on your action camera is more or less a fixed lens. Or even if you attach additional lenses to it, the base aperture of your lens is not going to change. Basically, the aperture, the overall opening in the lens that lets light pass through it, is fixed. And it's because of the aperture and the size of sensor that you have on your action cameras or your smartphones that you don't get background blur. You don't get depth of field that a lot of professionals using mirrorless or DSLR cameras actually have in their videos. Until right now. Now, a couple of months ago, I did my review on the iPhone 12 Pro Max, which has been one of my primary cameras on this YouTube channel. There was something that I talked about. When we were shooting the cameras on the iPhone, we spoke about this little nugget at the back of the camera. This is the LiDAR scanner. And this is a feature that I talked about extensively during my review. And I don't know if you guys remember what I said about it, so I'm going to quickly show you a little preview of that review and what I said about this little LiDAR sensor. Now, this little guy over here. This is the LiDAR sensor, which we've talked about before in my iPad Pro review. I don't think LiDAR has actually reached its peak. It can be phenomenal if you really look at it and you look at the technology, but I don't think Apple has pushed it as hard as they could. So now that we remember what LiDAR actually is, things have changed from the time I made that review. No, Apple hasn't pushed this feature to its max potential even now, although there's this other company who manufactured an app, and the app that we're talking about is ProTake. ProTake is the app that has made amazing use of this feature. They actually give you depth of field or background blur, like I showed you just a few minutes ago while I was filming on my iPhone, and they've actually implemented that in video mode, making use of the abilities of the LiDAR scanner that's actually at the back of your iPhone. Okay, first and foremost, this video is not sponsored. ProTake is a fantastic filmmaking app that I've been using for a little while now, and they've recently put out a bunch of updates to the app, including this amazing portrait mode video feature that we're talking about. And since I'm a mobile content creator, I'm always on the lookout for the best video and photo editing apps, as well as the best filmmaking apps, so that I can actually push my cameras on my phone to its maximum limit. And ProTake is definitely an app that gives you a ton of flexibility if you want to create content. There are a lot of apps in the market that can do exactly what ProTake does. There's Filmic Pro, there's the Pro Camera app by Moment. But what makes ProTake really different to all the other apps in the market is the fact that it makes use of your LiDAR sensor, and it's given you this one feature that no other app that I know of has actually given you till date, and that's portrait video mode. I'm definitely going to show you the user interface of this app and how to use it because it's fantastic, but the main feature that we're looking at is portrait mode. Now I'm going to jump into the app on my phone, and as you can can see when you jump in, there are 4 main modes to actually look at. Now when you jump into the app, the first mode that you're actually going to see is the portrait mode. Next is a dual camera mode. The dual camera mode is fantastic because it lets you shoot with 2 different lenses at one time. You can go into the layout, see what you actually want. If you want to shoot in split screen, you want to shoot in picture, or you want to just shoot 2 separate files from 2 different lenses at the exact same time. What's even better is you can choose the lenses that you want to use when you're shooting in this mode, and it's fantastic. This feature is amazing if you want to shoot interviews or if you want to talk to the camera as well as capture a scene at the exact same time. Overall, I'm a big fan of this mode. The other mode is the Pro mode, which you actually have to pay for. The Pro mode basically consists of your lenses on the top corner. You have complete control on your shutter speed. You can control the ISO of your camera. On the right hand side, you have your focus, where you can manually focus. You can also tap on the screen for anything that you want to focus on. Overall, you also have the ability to zoom directly. On the top left hand side, you have your resolution. You can also choose your bit rate for each resolution that you're going to be filming at. You have your frame rate. Within your frame rate menu, you have the option to toggle on and toggle off time lapses. You can shoot at anything between 6, 24, 25, 30 and 60 frames per second, which I think is mind-blowing. You also have presets for white balance on the app. If you can see, you can get into auto mode where it will adjust the white balance for you according to the lighting condition that you're actually sitting in. You want to keep in mind that these presets for white balance are basically designed so that you can use your camera in various lighting conditions. As you can see, I have manual focus, and it will also put out a green color imprint, basically a histogram, showing you which area of the image is actually focused at. Basically, having all your controls on the screen at all time makes this extremely easy to use. On the top right hand side, you can see you have your color space. You can choose different LUTs, and one of the favorite ones that I actually like to use a lot is the Alexa LUT or the orange and teal LUT, which is basically inbuilt. Furthermore, there's also the ability to shoot in log, which makes it a lot easier if you want to color grade in post just by yourself. And the next mode that I'm going to talk to you about is the auto mode. Auto mode is extremely easy. Basically, you can choose between your lenses. You still have the ability to choose various LUTs. Now, if you're a beginner filmmaker, you probably want to get the app just so that you can use it in auto mode. We're going to get into the 4th mode, the main reason why we're actually talking about the camera app, that portrait mode. As you dive into the portrait mode, you're going to notice you can adjust your aperture here. Remember, this is only a digital base adjustments to aperture. You cannot actually adjust the manual aperture on your phone. One drawback about portrait mode is the fact that you can only shoot in 1080p. I normally choose the highest possible bitrate that's available. The first type of portrait mode is a visual portrait mode, where basically the camera sees the scene. It figures out what you're trying to shoot, and it'll apply software-based algorithms to your image so that it can give you the blurry background. This is not new. Samsung has had a portrait video mode in its cameras inbuilt for a very long time. What's special about this is the ability to change from visual mode to LiDAR. When you shift to LiDAR, it makes use of the sensor at the back of your iPhone, and it's basically going to use hardware and software together so that you can get the best blurry background possible. As you can see, you also have an inbuilt preview of what the LiDAR scanner is actually seeing on the bottom left hand side, so it lets you see what kind of depth it's actually sensing, and taking that image that your LiDAR scanner actually sees and applying a software algorithm to it, you get a fantastic background blur. It's not as accurate as what a mirrorless camera or a DSLR would actually be, but this is definitely the next best thing according to me. Now furthermore, when you jump into the ProTech app and you jump into Pro mode, tap the settings on the top right hand side of your screen. You can choose your different color spaces, which is standard dynamic range 8-bit. You can actually shoot 10-bit. Also have the ability to switch to Dolby Vision HDR, which is phenomenal if you're somebody who edits their videos. You can also switch from horizontal to vertical orientation extremely easily. You have different modes of stabilization built in. You have your standard mode, your cinematic mode, and your extreme mode. I normally like to keep it at standard mode because it does really well just like that. When you do move to cinematic or extreme, you're going to see a little bit of latency on your screen when you're shooting any kind of video because your phone's applying multiple software algorithms to actually smooth out the image. It does have a feature built in where it recognizes an anamorphic lens. As you guys know, I do have moment lenses. I do use the moment anamorphic lens for filming. The entire intro that was shot today was basically shot on the anamorphic lens by Moment and the ProTech app. All I have to do is toggle this on, just put your anamorphic lens on and you're good to go. Now what you got to remember is that this app has a paid version as well as a free version. But if you're somebody who's just getting into filmmaking, you can start off with the free version, get the hang of the app. Another phenomenal feature that you want to keep in mind is when you go into your frame rate menu, and below that you're going to see the ability to switch on or off time lapse. Now the best part about shooting time lapse on this device is the fact that you can actually toggle your shutter speed. It basically means when you're recording a time lapse using this app, you get motion blur, and motion blur is fantastic. It's one of the best ways to showcase any time lapse, and that's something that you can't do in the native camera app on the iPhone even today. If you still want to get the same amount of motion blur in your time lapses when you're shooting on the native camera app on your iPhone, you actually have to mount your iPhone on a tripod and make sure your iPhone's extremely steady, and only then will it actually reduce the shutter speed to give you that motion blur effect. You can actually now shoot full-fledged cinematic time lapses on your iPhone using the ProTech app. So we are now filming this on portrait mode on the iPhone in the ProTech app. You can see that the blurry background still comes in. we were making use of that LiDAR scanner. I do have a moment lens currently mounted on top of my main lens on the iPhone, so it's also actually giving me the entire portrait effect using the LiDAR scanner with an external lens. I know it's not perfect and the edges aren't as crispy and aren't as natural looking as it would be on a DSLR or a mirrorless camera, but it's the first iteration of portrait mode and it is the first iteration of LiDAR on any iPhone, and with time this is only going to get better. Okay, so I'm a big fan of the ProTake app. I think it's fantastic, but it's definitely not all rosy peachy. See, the thing is, the iPhones have an inbuilt LiDAR scanner and a lot of Android phones do not have a LiDAR scanner. So I don't know if this special LiDAR feature is actually going to work on those phones. I know certain Android phones have a time of flight sensor at the back that helps them detect depth, so I don't know if ProTakes actually use that sensor and gives you a similar effect. If you guys are on Android, do let me know by hitting me up in the comment section about whether this actually works or not. Also, the portrait mode is not perfect. It's definitely glitchy, especially if you're moving around. The edges get really blurry. This is the first iteration of portrait mode video, making use of hardware and software together, and I think it's only going to get better from here. Another drawback would be the fact that there's no stabilization when you're shooting in portrait mode, and I know it's a subscription-based system, but the fact that a lot of the main features do work in the free version is fantastic. If you're a mobile filmmaker, definitely hit me up because I've been filming on mobile for a really long time. I would love to help you guys out. Let me know what other videos you guys want to see. This is Nitin Chawla and this was Essential Tech. See you next time.